This is a story about a woman named Maya who didn't know that her nervous system had been whispering to her long before it ever screamed. Maya grew up learning one lesson very early: be strong or be nothing at all. Strength, in her world, wasn't confidence or resilience. It was silence. It was pretending. It was swallowing fear until her body shook from the weight of it. She was the little girl who understood too much and was comforted too little, the child who soothed herself because no one else knew how. Her childhood home was not violent, but it was loud in ways that didn't require shouting. Loud in the way tension fills a room. Loud in the way adults speak through slammed drawers and heavy footsteps and long, exhausted sighs. Maya learned to disappear emotionally while staying physically present. She learned to scan every room like a tiny radar, reading faces, predicting moods, and adjusting herself to whatever kept the peace. She didn't know it then, but this was the beginning of her nervous system story. A body taught to stay on high alert, a mind trained to anticipate danger, a heart that never fully rested in its own rhythm. As a child, she believed this was normal. She believed everyone felt their chest tighten for no reason. Everyone felt their stomach drop when someone called their name. Everyone felt like they were walking carefully around invisible glass. No one taught her that these were not personality traits, but survival responses. No one explained that hypervigilance is not intuition, it's fear with its shoes on. And so she carried those patterns into adulthood, wearing them like invisible armor, long past the battles that created them. By the time she was a woman, Maya didn't just experience anxiety. She lived in it. Her body woke up every morning, as if bracing for something unseen. Her heart rushed without permission. Her breath stayed small and shallow. Her shoulders curled inward, like someone preparing for impact. And yet, she kept going. She woke before dawn to prepare for work. She answered messages she didn't have the energy for. She smiled at people who never noticed how tired her eyes were. She held space for friends and family, even when she had nothing left inside her own chest. That's what women do, she told herself. That's what strong people do. They push, they carry, they don't break. But the truth was simpler and sadder. Maya wasn't strong because she never broke. She was strong because she broke silently, again and again, and learned how to keep walking with the pieces. She spent years believing her anxiety was some kind of flaw, a defect in her character, a weakness in her body. She didn't know it was her nervous system trying to protect her, locked in patterns learned before she ever had a choice. She didn't know her body was not her enemy, but her oldest guardian. Overactive, exhausted, misunderstood. Then one evening, everything changed. Maya stood in her kitchen after a long day, trying to breathe through another wave of tension that rose in her chest like a warning. There was no trigger, no loud noise, no argument, just a familiar rush of panic that felt too big for her ribs to hold. For a moment, she gripped the counter, eyes squeezed shut, heart racing, a mind spinning into old familiar fear. And then, something unexpected happened. In the silence of her overwhelm, she heard a voice, not out loud, but inside. A small voice, a young voice, a voice she had forgotten belonged to her. It whispered, "I'm scared." Maya froze, not from panic this time, but from recognition, because that voice, that tiny trembling voice, was hers. Her inner child, the part of her that had been quiet for decades, the part that had been carrying fear alone, long before Maya even understood the word anxiety. For a moment, Maya didn't move. She didn't answer. She didn't know how. No one had ever asked her younger self how she felt. No one had taught her how to respond. The voice came again, softer this time. Please don't leave me alone in this. And something inside Maya cracked open. Not in a painful way, but in the way a shell cracks, just before something new begins to breathe. Her panic didn't disappear. Her anxiety didn't magically resolve. But for the first time, it made sense. This wasn't a malfunction. This wasn't weakness. This wasn't too much. This was a younger version of her, still waiting for safety, still waiting for someone to say, I hear you, I'm here. Maya brought a hand to her heart and another to her belly without fully knowing why. Her breath trembled, but it deepened, and with that breath something shifted. She whispered back, I'm here. You're not alone anymore. Her nervous system softened, not because the anxiety was gone, but because for the first time she wasn't fighting herself. She was listening. She was meeting fear with presence, with compassion, with the gentleness she never received as a child. And in that moment, the healing she didn't know she needed began. In the days that followed, Maya felt something she hadn't felt in years. Not perfection, not constant calm, but permission. Permission to breathe slower. Permission to feel without fear. Permission to rest without guilt. Permission to choose softness over survival. One evening, as the sun dipped low and painted her room in the soft blush light, Maya sat quietly with herself. And for the first time, she noticed that the anxious hum in her chest, the one that used to feel like a warning, was no longer screaming. It was whispering. And beneath that whisper was an even softer truth. She wasn't fighting with her body anymore. She placed one hand over her heart, one over her belly, and she gently said to the girl inside her, You can rest now. I'm finally here. You're finally safe. And something inside her shifted. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but deeply. A warmth spread through her chest, the kind that feels like long overdue kindness, like the kind of love she used to search for in others, but had finally learned to give herself. Because the truth was this, Maya wasn't becoming stronger, she was becoming softer. And softness was the strength she had needed all along. Healing didn't mean her past disappeared. It meant her present was no longer ruled by it. It meant she didn't have to abandon herself to keep the peace. It meant she didn't have to silence her needs to be worthy of love. It meant she was finally learning what safety felt like inside her own skin. And as she breathed in the quiet of that moment, she realized something she wished someone had told her years ago. You don't heal by forcing yourself to be okay. You heal by finally listening to the parts of you that never were. Maya opened her eyes, looked out at the soft evening sky, and whispered, I'm proud of you. We made it here. And for the first time, she believed it. She wasn't just surviving anymore. She was returning. To herself, to her body, to her truth, to her life. And her nervous system, the one that had carried the weight of every childhood fear and every unspoken emotion, finally settled into a rhythm that felt like home. If your nervous system needed this, someone else's does too. Share it with them. Subscribe for more calm, healing, and inner child support. And explore the template in my bio to go deeper.